My name is Beth Laychak. I am Director of Strategic Communications at the Canada-France-Hawaii Telescope. My job is, quite simply put, as Director of Strategic Communications, I explain astronomy to people. So the strategic part of it means that I look at how the Canada-France-Hawaii Telescope can work with other telescopes across the Mauna Kea observatories, with our partner countries, Canada, France, the University of Hawaii, to figure out what's the best way to plan our communications moving forward. I also do a lot of work in education and community engagement, working with the general public both here in Waimea, where we live and we have our offices, across the Big Island, across the state of Hawaii, and then in Canada and France as well. Generally, I talk to either the general public, so that can be in the form of social media, so I also manage our social media account. That can be in the form of social media, that can be videos on our YouTube channel, that can be working directly with schools and teachers, working with students and, trying to figure out the ways that explaining astronomy works with the curriculum and the interest areas of the respective schools and teachers. Also organizing talks that CFHT may give, workshops, conferences, planning all of our communications if we're attending a conference. So we recently attended the SBIE conference, which focuses on sort of the engineering and technology side of astronomy. And so part of my job is then to make sure that the presentation that we have at that conference in forms of a booth or a table highlights CFHT and all of our projects in the best way possible. If given my choice, I would talk exclusively to kids. So pre-K, 4-year-olds, all the way up through college and early career. I think that that's where you have the greatest impact. I think that's where there's the greatest interest. And I think that if we really want to change people's perceptions, if we want to encourage and empower kids that they can work in STEM, that they can have some of the careers and the jobs that we see within observatories, but even more broadly, to have a career that they're really happy and satisfied with. For me, that's really important, why a lot of the work that I do focuses on students. I'd much rather kind of put the work in and talk to students who are our next generation. In any given year, CFHT participates in a lot of different kinds of events. We have a couple of really large ones that we work with other observatories and other astronomy groups on island. Astro Day in Kona and Hilo, so the east side and the west side of the island, are really good examples. At Astro Day, it's a community event where you can either intentionally come or it's held at shopping plazas, so the general public may just end up there. The most recent one we used old calendars using CFHT images and showed people how to make their own galaxy mobiles. So it's a activity that a family could do together, also a teacher could do in a classroom. It recycles materials that we have from before and also highlights the images that CFHT is quite known for creating, particularly in the community here. Every year we hold a back to school event, so we're directly across the street from one of the elementary schools. This is more of a community focused and a community led event where as parents and kids are going to the first day of school, they have the opportunity to pick up some fun school supplies, to have a pastry or a cup of coffee or a snack for their lunchbox on the way back. I run a program called Mauna Kea Scholars, where the Hawaii public high school students across the state, work with about 10 different schools, can apply for observing time on the Mauna Kea observatories for their own independent research. And so the students put forth proposals that are reviewed by professional astronomers, and then they have telescope time to execute those observations and do their own research. Sometimes they end up being published alongside of professional astronomers. Sometimes they end up as a senior project, a science fair project, a capstone project as the student graduates. I also work here in Waimea on a lot of community-focused events. So we have a star party every year after the Waimea Christmas Parade. It's one of those things where everything is aligned, so people go to the parade, and we intentionally hold an event afterwards that's complimentary, where people can look through telescopes, do a small tour of our base facility here in Waimea, look at our remote observing room where I'm standing right now. We have some Christmas crafts or just little things for kids to take home, ask an astronomer, and then snacks. We also have partnered with the Keck Observatory, the University of Hawaii Institute for Astronomy, and the other Mauna Kea observatories to do solar system walks. So this is a scale model of the solar system that we do between our headquarters and the headquarters of the Keck Observatory that's about a kilometer down the road. We set up a scale model of the solar system, and each booth is a different planet where there's different activities that really focus on the contributions of the Mauna Kea observatories collectively to our understanding of the solar system. They come to the end. We traditionally do this in October, which gives the opportunity for a costume contest and then a large kind of barbecue on our front lawn here. We've taken that in a virtual way as well. Last year during COVID, we've got some self-paced, self-guided solar system tours where we set up the same solar system walk idea, scale model of the solar system along a popular walking trail. And there were decals that people could look at the QR code and scan the videos. What we really like about that is that's an event, it's an opportunity for parents to use that at home, teachers can use it in their classrooms. We've also seen it in use on other places on islands, so Queen Liliuokalani Gardens in Hilo, with some of the Hilo-based observatories have actually put on a similar event. For me, it's really important to be involved in the community that we live in. So I serve on 3 school and community councils. So these are local public schools where I work to support the school and provide opportunities for the community to engage with the school and then and vice versa. In my position, I'm often asked to do talks on communications. So how can we, kind of teach graduate students and early career professionals on how to communicate effectively, how to communicate and highlight their work. I also write all of the news and press releases for CFHT. So that means that I work in collaboration with researchers. They've published a paper, they draft up a news release, and oftentimes I take that information that can be a little bit technical and keep the spirit of that information, but also make sure that it's accessible to anybody who would want to read it on our website. Working with the community and communications, particularly in the science field, is ever-changing and ever-evolving. Here in Hawaii, we have opportunities that present both challenges, but also opportunities in the situation surrounding Mauna Kea and the controversies that have existed because of the 30-meter telescope and, broader the presence of astronomy on that mountain. As we're moving through this decade and looking to potentially renew a lease for Hawaii astronomy moving forward, we know that the paradigm needs to shift. The work that I have been doing and the work of, community outreach and community engagement is one step of many that we're going to need to take to really integrate into the community, not just, the staff and the people, most of which already live here, but also what opportunities does the community want and how can astronomy be a responsible neighbor, a good supporter. An example is during the COVID pandemic, we understood that outreach as we had been traditionally doing it really wasn't what people needed. And so we worked and looked within needs in our community and started working with organizations to provide information about COVID-19 in culturally sensitive, locally appropriate materials for kids. We also worked with other sort of tech industries on the island to see what we could produce, which led to CFHT creating, virtual materials, but also remote hand openers. So like if you didn't want to touch a doorknob and you were a doctor, our instrument designer designed a hand opener, door opener. And so those are the kinds of things that, moving forward, oftentimes when people hear, that I do outreach, they assume that it's focused on schools. And that is a large part of it. But it's looking broadly at the community. What is the needs of the community? What do we have that we can offer? How can we work in a better reciprocity with the community, providing, services and things that are truly unique to astronomy? And, having that sort of collaboration that meets specific needs within the community. So I think that's the big shift that we're going to see. I think in Hawaii, we're a little bit farther down that road than you see in just some other places because of everything that has happened here in the past decade. And I think that that's a really great opportunity for us to continue continue kind of pushing that envelope and see what's possible. With the launch of JWST, that's all people want to talk about. And so while it's not our facility, one of the things that's really important for ground-based astronomy and ground-based telescopes to kind of get across is how the JWST builds on the work that we are doing here in space. The space work builds on the work that we're doing here in the ground. For example, our instrument Spiru is a planet hunter. It's looking for Earth-sized planets around cool, small stars. The work that we're doing here to discover those planets, to potentially look for those signs of atmosphere, that is a stepping stone to JWST. So that an astronomer who's using CFHT discovers a planet could decide to use JWST to look at that atmosphere and get a better, closer look. All of astronomy is intrinsically linked together. The discoveries and the areas that JWST, the James Webb Space Telescope, knows to look are because of work that has been done either in ground-based astronomy or with the Hubble Space Telescope or precursor telescopes. So while JWST is out, doing absolutely incredible things and is going to change our understanding of the universe, it's doing that on the, sort of the basis of astronomy that has already and will continue to work collectively to support our understanding and heighten our understanding of the universe.